Order! Miss Order! 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 Order, I say to the children's minister, try to calm down and behave like an adult, and if you can't, if it's beyond you, leave the chamber, get out, we'll manage without you, Mr. David Ward.
We all know about David Cameron and the pig, thanks to his friend and fellow Tory, Lord Ashcroft, betraying him. But there is far worse stuff than that. Take Richard Harpin. He is not famous, but he is a wealthy Conservative donor. Despite this guy being a multi-millionaire who travels to work every day with a helicopter and being CEO of HomeServe, a corporation worth over 500 million, he and his corporation got involved in a pretty serious insurance scam, which unfortunately led to them getting a £30 million fine. Next is Lord Laidlaw, a good family man and a Conservative member of the House of Lords. Like all great Tories, a man of principle who follows the Conservative lifestyle.
Irving Laidlaw is a very, very successful international business person, so he's aware of
But
the opportunity.
it just so happens that he has a sex addiction. Oh, so sad. And in order to feed that addiction, he needs to invite prostitutes around to entertain him. Then, Ken Clarke, known for heavy drinking, smoking, and in general being a bit of a slob.
Hi, I'm Kenneth Clarke, and this is my arse. Here I am in ancient Greece.
No, you're not. Now get out of my hospital.
Oh, are you a doctor?
Yes?
Then stitch this. It was here that I drank so much that I started thinking I was Minister of Health.
When it comes to money, Ken Clarke is hungry. As well as being a politician, he worked for British American Tobacco, which was surely just a coincidence, because he campaigned inside Parliament against restrictions on cigarettes and did other work to help the tobacco industry. Even though people obviously die from cigarettes, this did not stop him, and there were even allegations he was involved in work to target children in the third world. Although tobacco is a good industry, and getting children to start smoking is an excellent money-winning strategy, because if you can hook them as kids, then you have a customer for life.
I was health secretary 30 years ago. I closed more hospitals than people had hot dinners, and we had some terrible hospitals. We had the old geriatric.
Finally, Lord Ashcroft, maybe the greatest Conservative in the history of mankind. The man who wrote the book exposing David Cameron and the pig. The reason he did this was revenge on his own friend. Amazing. He donated millions of pounds to the party, thinking that he would get a high-level job. But then David Cameron did not give him that job.
Well, I've had a couple of meetings with the Prime Minister over a period of time. I don't have any personal axe or grudge. When we do meet, we have a good time with a lot of...
What was it that Lord Ashcroft was trying to do? It was a bribe in order to get a job which would have given him huge power and influence in Britain. This is worrying, as he's another Conservative from the corporate sector worth over 800 million, and he avoids paying tax thanks to having the citizenship of Belize. Although Ashcroft is no friend of Belize, whose Prime Minister warned the world, Ashcroft is an extremely powerful man. His net worth may be equal to Belize's entire GDP. He is nobody to cross.
And from my own point of
view, yes, I'm a notorious tax avoider. But I'd like you to know, in the confidence of this room, that I still am. And I'm proud of it. And you know how
Yes, I think we all agree that breaking the rules is part of the fun of being alive. But the Conservatives are the first to judge and condemn others.
Are you worried about the rise in crime among teenagers?
Yes,
Do you think there's a lack of discipline in our comprehensive schools?
yes.
Do you
On
think young
every
people...
issue, the Conservatives attack others for being soft on crime and then demand harsher fines, prison sentences, even for minor offences.
This is the pattern of rising crime. It's gone on with one or two small and inconsequential blips like this for most of this century. It is going to continue to go up. And the first thing, Home Secretary, that you have to understand is that there is nothing you can do about it.
Make no mistake, I will be tough on crime. We all know crime is too high, and we know the damage that fear of crime is causing in our communities.
Ian Duncan Smith demands the weight of the law to punish a working class person who works but takes also £50 to £60 illegally on the side from unemployment benefit. In addition to that, people who have not even committed the slightest crime are judged as scroungers or living beyond their means, even if they have little to no money left after their food and rent.
I'm sitting next to Ian Duncan Smith, who quite happily labels the poor people as scroungers. When you claim £39 just for a breakfast, like you can't afford your own breakfast, when you live on your wife's estate and have taken £1.5 million of taxpayers' money, that's what I call scroungers. That's what I call scroungers.
For Tories, a low-income person who spends a little extra at a restaurant or pub is irresponsible, but a person from the corporate world who wastes millions on luxury items is not irresponsible. Usually Theresa May calls for tough sentences because it prevents criminals doing these crimes again and again. But with crime from banking and finance, the Tories think it's time for love and forgiveness, as when people from the City of London commit crime, whether it's an insurance scam or tax evasion, it's only in a Hollywood fantasy that the police would bash through the doors of these corporate offices and arrest the criminals in suits.
Let us teach our children the history of this remarkable country. I don't mean the wishy-washy sociological flim-flam that passes for history in many of our schools today. I don't mean the politically correct debunking anti-patriotic nonsense of modern textbooks. I mean the real history of heroes and bravery.
Michael Portillo makes a good point about teaching the real history, because with history we can understand the present. For centuries, the aristocracy lived the most law-breaking, violent, hedonistic lifestyle. Although they would preach religion to the poor, the excuse was that Christian rules are just for you poor people and not for us rich people. And today, the corporate world uses cocaine, crime, prostitution, while condemning any normal working class person who breaks a minor law.
No nobility in poverty. I have been a rich man and I have been a poor man, and I chose rich every fucking time.
When called a hypocrite, a conservative can just say, yes, we're hypocrites. So what? We need to be hypocrites. We are the most talented people, the most important people in the country. Without us, the country will not function.
You be ferocious! You be relentless! You be telephone fucking terrorist! Now let's knock this motherfucker out of the park!
Well, this is the Wizard of Oz scenario. As if you listen to someone speak like this, then it's possible to believe him for a bit. But then if you research it a little, then you see it's all a show.
Pray silence for the Governor of the Bank of England, Mr. Mark Carney.
All their jobs, whether CEOs, politicians, investment bankers, whatever, they're not more complex than any other job. Just like a bus driver or a cleaner, you're really part of a team and doing the same tasks over and over again. A company director does not make such intellectual decisions, as what may seem like a genius decision by him is really thanks to the work of all the other people in the team, from secretaries to researchers. Company bosses have the Messiah complex that they are the vanguard of Britain, and without them, the country is not going to function. But take a second to imagine a country without company bosses, without Tories, without lawyers, and maybe even without estate agents. A frightening thought. But imagine a country without its cleaners, its builders, supermarket workers, factory workers. Because it's without these low-paid workers where in reality the country would not run.